Can you hear
There
me?
you are. How are you, sir? I can. Can you
Man, I'm
hear
doing
me?
well. Yeah, there was a little bit of glitch there in the beginning, but I
Yeah,
didn't know if it was your Telbor internet or mine, so it's probably mine. Um,
I think it was yours. You're blowing up. Everybody's calling you.
hey, it's a good problem to have,
Yeah, it's not bad. Blowing up's always good.
huh?
How are you
Man,
doing, man? I'm a giant fan. I'm so honored you asked me to do this. I mean,
hey, I'm glad you're on here. I didn't know if you were a Giants fan or a Giant fan of me.
a giant fan of yours and of the Eagles forever. I mean, I'm a Philly boy, so I went to
Yeah,
Temple.
so doing
I
all the
love.
research, I found that out, and yeah, Philly born and raised. I guess you grew up going to all the games when you were young. Fly Eagles fly.
I fly, Eagles fly. I got to show you something. You're not going to believe this. I have a Eagles card. It's going to be backwards, but it is on there. It's a Philadelphia Eagles. But this is my manager and friend at the time, still my dear friend, Michael Price. That's the only freaking picture they had of me.
That's the
I'm
best
in,
thing you find.
I'm in a tux. I should have been in a jersey. And instead, I'm like, they need a picture right away. Okay, here's me in an event. But I love Eagles. You're amazing, man. I mean,
Yes,
you wear the ring all the time?
man. Only when I'm trying to impress somebody.
Right.
No, not really. I really keep it in the safe so I don't lose it. I have a good track record of losing stuff. So even
Ah,
rings from college, I give it to mom and kind of put it in the safe. Who was the quarterback? I guess when you were growing up, was it Jaworski or was
yeah.
it
No,
Jaws was the
Jaworski.
guy?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a pretty nice setup over here. I don't know if you've had the luxury of going in the golf courses here, but he's
Not
he's, he's
lucky
doing
enough.
he's doing well for himself.
Yeah, and you are too. Where are you right now? Are you in Philly or are you back in Texas?
No, I'm in I live in Jersey. I live in Morristown, so it's probably 20-25 minute commute into work every day. So
Right.
not too bad. I guess what we're all doing, we're kind of all on standby right now. I
Yeah.
got bored, and so I decided to kind of do this show. You got your little podcast thing going. It feels
Yeah.
good to connect with people since
That's
we
the
can't really
thing.
get out right now.
And it's good to make people feel better, especially with everything that's going on in the world. And today's Juneteenth, so
Yep.
that's a thing that we tip our hats and just want to. I'm just trying to send out love to everybody and entertain people. That's
Love,
what I'm
hey, love
trying to do.
and laughter is always the best medicine. I guess
It
you
used
I
to
guess
be.
you figured that out very early in your career.
Well, the joke is I used to do it, and everybody's done the same joke. Laughter's the best medicine unless you tried Percocet. So.
You said Percocets is tough to beat. It may be first place, laughter
Well,
second.
you tell me. I mean, you've been injured.
Yeah, no, they're the game's changed far as what they do now. It's a little bit more sophisticated and they keep an eye on you.
No, I
Um,
know. I know. They check your urine. I check mine after I go, and it seems okay. If I see no floaters, I'm fine.
hey, it's always a good
Do you want
sign.
to buy a box of my baseball cards? I mean, sorry, I'm out of it. I'm tired. My football eagle. I got hundreds of them here.
Yeah, I would like to have that just because I kind
It
of have
is
a
a
shrine in my
baseball.
locker. I like to have that and put it in my locker.
Yeah, it's a great idea, and you can also use it. You can scratch your balls with it. It's a hard, very hard.
I always need
Cardboard.
that. No, I usually have a shrine in my locker. A lot of liquor. So after them tough losses, you can get you a good nice swig before you have to talk to the reporters and tell them how bad we played. So that's always nice.
Well, you've been on a. I can't wait till you guys can go back. I mean, it's.
Yeah. Speaking of, it's kind of. I mean, it's really up in the air. I think they've given us a timeline where it may be late July is usually when training camp is. But right now, I've heard we may be going back a little bit sooner to kind of get acclimated. But
Would
really
they
on
put a
standby.
mask in the helmet? Would they build it in there?
Yeah, it kind of looks like a Star Wars mask or like a
Right.
Darth Vader mask. I'm pretty sure it would hurt our breathing, so I'm not very excited about that. I'm not sure about how much that's really going to affect it from spreading since we're touching somebody every play and
No,
sweating.
yeah, the sweat but it's not the sweat as much as it is out of your eyes, nose, mouth. I mean, if a guy hocks a Luger, it's going to go through somehow.
Hey,
So
it drip on somebody. Somebody's got to get it.
somebody's getting a Luger. I mean, stuff comes out.
So growing up, I guess, you're a very intelligent guy. I feel like most comedians are
No,
very.
I'm not. I'm
You'd be
damaged.
surprised. So growing up, you go to school, and I understand you wanted to be a doctor, and I guess maybe going into college, you knew that may took a whole lot of work, and maybe you want to do something else. And I understand it was your English teacher, I guess, that kind of made you go in that direction.
It was Mrs. Zimmerman, Elaine Zimmerman, who unfortunately we lost in a car accident, and long time ago, and she told me not to become a doctor and to go into comedy and film, because I used to make student films, and she saved thousands of lives.
Yeah.
That's the joke, because she did. Because I did, at Temple, I took chemistry and bio, and I'm so dumb. I just couldn't, I mean, I know iron is Fe.
Yeah, and the periodic table.
Potassium is like K. That's it. That's all I got.
I feel smart even remembering that.
Right. I worked at the theater there at the Annenberg Center at the radio TV film department, and I built a stage. I worked on a stage for actually a Tennessee Williams play, and he came and saw the play and cried because the set was so beautiful. But you don't want me building your set. You're going to fall to the floor. But I did not do acting until I moved to LA, and then studied acting, and then got in a couple of movies and TV shows.
Well, I guess as far as comedy, you knew you had that kind of in you from an early age. Who were some of your influences? I guess when I watch some of your stuff, you have very crisp one-liners. I can see a little bit of Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah.
I can see him being one, maybe George Carlin.
Beloved, loved them both a lot. Here, do you want to see a little Rodney thing? Wait, right here.
I do.
It's very heavy because I'm not as strong as you, but this is a Rodney Dangerfield award I got, and it's a heavy damn thing, and it was for the UCLA Brain Center, and his widow Joan gave me this, and my friend Joe Gray presented it, and it is I loved him a lot. He started me out. He saw me on the Merv Griffin show, Millennials. Yeah. That was a TV show, and he said, "You're funny, man. You got a problem. Your mind never stops. You're never going to be happy, man." Yeah. And I was like, a new friend, right? And I officiated his funeral, and I have his pot pipe in the other room. Mm-hmm. He gave it to me. His widow gave it to me. I even have a bottle of, on the latest Bill Burr, Bert Kreischer podcast, I showed Rodney's pot pipe and a bottle of Viagra that's empty that says Rodney Dangerfield Viagra. So that's
he took them all, I'm assuming.
He did everything he could. He was a big influence. Richard Pryor was a hero, big hero. And I was in a movie with him, but I met him at the Comedy Store in LA. And he thought I was funny, which was like, what?
I feel like stand-up is, it's high pressure because obviously you want to make people laugh, but at the same time you want to come up, I guess, with your own material, and you try not to be like, I guess, your influencers. So I guess you had to kind of figure your way out with that.
Yeah, exactly that. I had to find out who I was. I loved Don Rickles. I became close with him thanks to Stamos. He was close with Don, and Don became like a dad to me. But, I'm a combo platter. My stand-up I was influenced by Martin Mull, who did musical comedy, and I'm working on a documentary I'm directing. Kevin Bright's producing about Martin, and Steve Martin's in it, and David Allen Greer, and a lot of really great Eric Idle. But speaking of that, who were your influences? Who did you look at and go, I want to be that guy?
I was a big Brett Favre guy. As far as sports, Brett Favre. I love the way he competed. I love that he was just a country boy. I love the way he talked to his teammates. He was always positive, and always, I felt like he commanded energy in a good way, and guys could play behind him. As far as anything else, as far as comedians, I like Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy. I was a big Jim Carrey guy growing up.
Jim Carrey he's amazing, right?
Yeah.
All friends of mine. Not Eddie. I'm not friends with Eddie, but I was not lucky enough. But I was emceeing at the Comedy Store. I was there after I left Philly and graduated Temple. I came to LA, and for about 8 years, I was one of the hosts at the Comedy Store. So I was there when Eddie was working out Raw. And he came out one
Is
day.
the Michael Jackson Thriller jacket?
Oh my God. He was in a blue leather outfit, amazing looking, perfectly built. Comes out on stage. I was looking at his eyes. I wasn't looking down. Even though he was
Yeah.
a handsome dude. And he did an hour or a little less than an hour one weekend on a Friday. And the standing ovation at the top and the huge applause at the end. But then 1 week later, he came back in a red leather suit, did the same exact set, but just did it. He figured it out. He's such a genius. Figured it out in 1 week, maybe worked it out a couple other places. I'm not sure. He's so good, he could have just figured it out from the week before. And literally, it's the strongest I've ever seen. And I've seen everybody, Robin Williams, God bless him, bring the walls down. The building shook. It was the main room at the Comedy Store, 400 seats or more. I couldn't believe what had happened. And it was so funny when I introduced him, he was very nice and polite. Yeah. When he finished that hour, it was like when you make a touchdown and you know it, and you're just like.
Was he walking around about 6 inches taller, chest a little bit wider?
He was not on the ground. Floating. He just after he was leaving, he took his his Elvis moment, and he made eye contact. He was a very gracious man. Yeah. And he was like, and it was like, because he got what he wanted to get done. He was precise. He was, he is. He's one of the best that will ever live.
I've heard he's one of those guys, as far as in movie roles, it doesn't take him very long to, if he has to do, like, even the accents for all the Nutty Professor characters, it didn't take him long.
He should have gotten an Oscar for Nutty Professor. Yeah. They don't give him to some comedies. He should have literally won for that movie. And even the Clumps. I laughed my ass off.
So do I. Probably another guy, probably my favorites is Adam Sandler. And I feel like I'm slowly, I love all his movies. I love how he has, all his friends, Rob Schneider, all the guys from the same movie. Yeah. And I think I'm slowly turning into him and Big Daddy. Me and the kind of the maintenance man, delivery guy, we've been cooking out. We've been doing a little bit of bonfire action. So another one of my idols. So before you went out to Cali, you said you went to Temple. I want to know what Temple Bob was like. What kind of music? What kind of music were you listening to? Was it Bob Saget? Was it some rock? And what were you driving around?
I was doing Seeger. I was getting into Bruce. I was listening to really pretty much everything. I was listening to a lot of Philly music. A lot of post Motown stuff. Yeah. We had a pretty good, there was a lot of good hip hop coming up and a lot of beginnings of stuff. I was pretty diverse in all the people that I liked. And I even liked the sweet, James Taylor stuff, Yeah. I was a geek.
Very versatile.
I was, I like to think I am. I can't do backbends anymore.
How was the hair? So I'm assuming.
I had
the hair was.
Well, I had a bouffant. My glasses were welding glasses. They were
look like microscopes on your face.
Oh, it's terrible, man. I could have gone right to lab. I could have worked in physics with a Bunsen burner. It was so sad. What about you? What was you were playing football all through school, right? All through high school.
Yeah, I did a little bit of everything. I played baseball, basketball. I did a little bit of track. I grew up in a small town with probably maybe a little bit over 1,000. So I graduated. My graduating class, I had 33 kids in there. So you can imagine, 5 kids in each class. It was, we had some good days in there.
Do you keep in contact with any of those people?
Yeah, a lot of guys from back home, high school. Some of my JUCO buddies, and then obviously guys from OU in here. So. Really throughout the course of my career, and you can probably say the same, just all the people you've met, all the, that's what it's really all about, I guess.
They make who you are.
Yeah. Relationships will take you where you want to go, and that's really what it's all about. So
unless you're talking about other relationships, they sometimes took me where I didn't want to go.
Yeah. Sometimes they'll leave you down a rabbit hole sometimes.
Oh, I went down a bunch of rabbit holes, but everything's fine now.
I say that's the only way you learn, though.
I have one of my my ex-girlfriends is right here, right here. There she is.
An
She
old
got
gnome? Oh,
she
she's a little
got
bit prettier than that.
she got a belly ring and she's clean, so that's good. That's PC.
I'm
But I
glad you
got a
kept her
wife.
around for a
I
while.
got a great wife. You got a wife?
Yep.
And,
3 kids. I understand you have 3 daughters.
yeah.
They're all grown up now. I remember watching the show. I think the Arsenio Hall show. And yeah, I guess that was, when you're doing the whole Full House, had your whole career going, funniest home videos. You got
Yes.
3 kids at home, and it's really just a whirlwind, huh? Trying to balance all that.
And you how many kids you have?
2 boys and a girl. So my daughter's in the middle.
That's awesome. I got
lucky.
3 girls, and people always ask me because Father's Day is any minute. Do you have Father's Day plans? Do you got stuff going?
My father's down in Texas, so I'll probably do something when I see him again here. I think I'm gonna head down there in a week because we don't have much time before camp. But try to do something, maybe get the grill fired up. He likes to fish a lot, so we like to do that. So.
And how about your kids? You'll be hanging with them?
Yep, they like to fish. They're starting to get into sports. I'm trying not to be the dad that goes. I get real nervous kind of watching them play, so I kind of just watch, kind of not watch. I get really nervous, more nervous than myself playing. My kids
Are they aware? Like my daughters were aware that I was acting, but they were a little jealous. By my oldest was only 1 year old when I was starting Full House. Mm-hmm. And no, actually, yeah, she was 6 months old because Mary Kate and Ashley are 1 year older than her.
Yeah.
And so I had another family, on TV. So it was kind of like I didn't really want them to watch it because it was like I didn't want them to be thinking that I got this other life, like I'm cheating on them.
Yeah.
Because they're kids. What about how do your kids watch you play? Do they get nervous? Do they come to all the games?
My son's 6, so he's starting to understand it more. Early on, he would, one thing I enjoyed was him going to training camps and just to get to see him after practice. And kind of the beauty of it is that he don't really understand it all now, but eventually he will the longer I play. So that's really the way it is with a lot of our athletes. So during training camp, a lot of former players come back, a lot of the wives come, and after practice, it's kind of daddy daycare out there, so to speak.
Right.
But it's a lot of fun.
Well, you find out what I've learned because I'm a lot older than you is that people always say, "Are you a good dad? How are you such a good dad?" Or however they phrase it. And I only found out that I'm a good dad kind of recently by how great my daughters are. Yeah. That's how I gauge. Oh, I'm a good, and they got a good mom, so that's always good. She couldn't be here because we got divorced 24 years ago, but
yeah. I still have a good relationship.
But we actually have one now, and my wife is in the other room down a ways behind these walls.
Does she have her own woman cave? I'm assuming you have your man. Are you in your man cave right now?
I am in part of my man cave. On the other side's like a study. That's where I do my podcast.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm doing. I mean, I'm holed up doing, and I'm doing it a lot. And I'll plug it real quick. It's called Bob Saget's Here for You. That's my name.
I saw some of the bits and pieces with John Hamm.
John
pretty
Hamm.
cool getting to talk with people that I guess over periods of time you never really had the time to. You kind of run into them.
That's what this is, and I know that's probably why you're doing this too.
Yes.
You get to have a connection. Like we know each other now, but we didn't. But when I'm in Philly, I'm gonna find you.
And hey, you need to find me, and you're gonna find some Ritas. I got some Ritas there in my freezer. I don't know if you know what that is, but
I do.
Ice cream.
Don't even say it. I'm there.
I don't have to tell you. All right.
No.
It's here.
What about cheesesteaks? Do you eat the cheesesteaks?
Man, to be honest, I've had one cheesesteak since I've been here, and it was the day that I was drafted, and I believe it was from Talk of the Town. So I never had really Pat's or Geno's, so I've never really been even involved in that.
Pat's and Geno's are good. I like Jim's, and I get nothing for this endorsement. Jim's. And they used to have a good one in Jim's in South Philly, but they used to have a good one at the Four Seasons. Not that I'm spoiled, but they closed it. But that was a really good one, and I would eat like 2 or 3 a day when I'd go do stand up because I'll always do stand up in Philly. Always. I'd love to have you come see me sometime.
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, it's probably got to be sometime in February when the Super Bowl is. So luckily we're there.
Yeah,
So
you will be. And that's about probably when I'll get there. I mean, it'd be
really,
2020. It'd be next year for sure because I'm hoping to start up in the fall, but it's got to be safe for everybody. So
yeah. So everybody's the world's just on standby right now. So we're
it's
all just waiting.
interesting though because it does make you think about what's important.
Yeah, you have to I guess realign your values and yeah, I guess you really had the time to think about it, which you really didn't put the time in. I would say since being so busy. So it's been a good thing. A lot of positive has come from all of
I
this.
think with all of the stuff that's happened, with all the pain and everything, it's a reset. It is a reset
Yeah,
on the whole planet
yeah, really
and
is.
how people treat people and how I mean, there's a lot of lessons learned. This is really weird because this says smallpox. When's the last time something stopped the planet?
Yeah, smallpox back in what 1845.
Yeah,
Measles.
measles was probably the last. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, and apparently scientists aren't needed anymore.
Yeah,
we need a freaking vaccine's what we need. That's what I want.
yeah. Cool.
I want to use a needle, but for good purposes.
Okay,
So
so,
what?
so leaving Temple, you decide, okay, I'm going out to LA. I want to do this. Were you very nervous, or did you have your kind of mindset? This is what I'm going to do.
I was oddly because I was a geek. So 18 to 22 years old, I lived at home with my parents in an apartment, and I worked in a supermarket in a deli counter that my dad got me the job with Food Fair Pantry Pride supermarkets that
Hell
are now
yes.
gone. And I was working in Cedarbrook Mall, and I was born in Mount Airy, and then I lived in Virginia for a couple of years, but then came back to Philly.
Yeah.
And I was doing stand up when I was 17. I won a radio contest for WMMR, singing a song about bondage. So I won $500 with a bunch of other comedians that had been doing it for a while in Philly.
You're thinking,
What 17-year-old would write a song about bondage? What's wrong with him? That was me. And then I would do comedy while I went to Temple. I would make films in the film department. And then I did improv with my friend Sam Domsky, who's a dentist, and with a comedy group of great guys that I still talk to called Mixed Nuts at University of Pennsylvania. So I was doing improv and long 2-hour shows with them,
yeah.
3 hours. And then I also was making films, and I won the Student Oscar. I'm actually going to answer your question from 7 minutes ago. I won the Student Academy Award because my nephew had his face reconstructed, and he was 7. And I filmed it, and I made a documentary called Through Adam's Eyes, and I won the Student Oscar. And so they flew me to LA, and I was at the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences with getting a Merit Documentary Award, and I met Steven Spielberg. I met all these people. Howard Koch was a famous movie big mogul that ran Paramount.
So you kind of that's where you got your connections.
So I got my cojones. I didn't really get connections. I was going to go to USC grad school, but I got in at the Comedy Store, and then the owner said, "You want to work here for free?" And I went, "Sure." So I quit grad school, and then stand-up was something I'd always loved. So I still wanted to make movies. I still wanted to act. So I just kind of did everything at the same time, like I still do.
Yeah. So after you gained that attention, I guess when did Full House? That was your first kind of big break. Was that in
The big break
89?
was a Richard Pryor movie called Critical Condition, and I got to spend time with him and other really great actors. Randall Tex Cobb was in it. And Ruben Blades, Joe Mantegna, and all these great people. And then I got on this show on CBS called The Morning Program, which was on for 9 months, and I got fired in 5 months. They said I was too hot for morning TV.
Too hot?
And then the producer of Full House, Jeff Franklin, and Bob Boyette and Tom Miller, who we just lost, wanted to have me be Danny Tanner all along. And I was available. I thought I'd never work again, which is what you always think. And I got the job. I did a quick screen test with John Stamos and Dave Coulier, who I'd known for 10 years. We'd done crazy stuff together.
Yeah. So you already had that relationship.
Yeah. So it was really weird. He was already cast as Joey. And then we did the show. And then a year later, they showed me a tape with a bunch of people getting hit in the nuts. And I
Yeah,
said,
so you're the original YouTube king, and you don't get any credit for it.
If you wanted to see someone getting hit in the nuts, you had to go through me.
And that's where, I mean, I watched Full House a little bit, but really our big thing was it was America's Funniest Home Videos. That's what.
But that was made for you, because Full House was really made for young girls. And and it was always weird to me when a 50-year-old critic would criticize it. It's like, dude, that's not made for you. But the video show was made for a lot of boys, called it the People That Fall Down show.
Yeah.
And it had a lot of good sports. All the sports videos, all the videos that I see all the time. I went, did it, seen it. Except there's new stuff and they're still making the show. That's what's so interesting. It's been on for over 30 years.
Carlton's doing it now, right?
Yes. He's a really, really good guy. Alfonso. We just got this. I just happened to have things on display. We got inducted into the Television Hall of Fame for AFV. So it was Vin DeBona, the producer, and it's by the broadcasting people, and it's a big deal. And so both Tom Bergeron, Alfonso, myself, and Vin, that show got into the TV Hall of Fame, and it's like
it's about damn time. It's about time it did.
I know, right?
I remember
did 8 years. I served my time.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned it in the Arsenio Hall show. I guess you were talking about the future, how you should get the unedited stuff or maybe stuff that was not shown.
Well, we did a show. We're waiting to see where it's going to go now. We did 14 episodes of Videos After Dark with Vin DeBona and me, and we're right now looking for a home because it's a little too blue for ABC. Because we tried to scramble signals and pixelate and put bars over private parts or bleep little kids dropping F-bombs.
You tried to PG it as much as you could.
We tried, but it was still too blue. And I was saying stuff more like my stand-up, but not quite.
Yeah.
But it's like a 9 or 10 o'clock at night show, you know?
Yeah.
And
you know what you're getting that time.
Yeah, but ABC has to be careful now because we're in a different world. But it's flat out funny. And so we'll see where that lands. But, there's still nothing funnier, really, than seeing real people do stuff. Funny. I mean, I'll watch Barstool Sports, or I'll watch a lot of friends of mine just output funny videos all the time. And
Ridiculousness, you watch that, Rob?
Yeah. I wanted to go on there, and then I had a union problem, so I couldn't go. I like Rob a lot. Yeah. And I like Daniel Tosh a lot. I mean, all the people that followed that form, because they reinvented it in their own way. And Joel McHale, I mean, Talk Soup, he was amazing. I used to drop in on him. But Arsenio, who I was friends with before we ever got on television, we were doing clubs together in Phoenix. We can't talk about those days. It's probably like you back in training or something. Back I think I lost you for a second. Are you back?
Yeah. I'm back.
Okay, good.
I'm back now.
So I would go on Arsenio all the time. I miss that he's not on. He's fantastic.
Yeah. Great dude. Seemed like.
He is. I just love it. And we have a history that'll always, I mean, I'm going to have him on my podcast. He's just one of those special people. Yeah. And I got to do
I think people would love to hear from him since we haven't in a few years. It's been a while since he's kind of been in the spotlight, I would assume.
Well, there's Coming to America Part 2.
I heard that was going to be made or if it's already made. So I can't wait to watch that.
No, me either. Because that's like getting the team back together.
It is.
Yeah. I just wish some of the other people, we've lost so many great comedians, that shouldn't be gone.
So John Witherspoon?
I love Johnny.
I do too.
What a nice man. What a good Patrice O'Neill. What a good guy. These are guys that shouldn't be gone. And Richard and Bernie Mac.
Yeah, I watched. Have you seen it? I'm assuming you've seen the movie Life. I just remember him in that movie. What a character.
Yeah.
What a character.
Those special people that make you laugh, that touch you, they're real special to you. Just like a great performance or a great athlete. I just watched the Michael Jordan series. Did you watch that?
Yeah, the Last Dance.
Oh my God. It's beautiful. I mean,
I think it was beautifully made. I'm glad how it kind of went to kind of every player's kind of perspective. I love the Dennis Rodman kind of saga. I love that he left the finals to go do wrestling. I love, stuff you can't even possibly think of getting away with today was done back then. Yeah, and I enjoy the 30 for 30. So I think that's a good way to connect, I guess, fans of sports too. Something that they haven't had before. Out of all the stuff you've done, you've been an author, producer, director. I guess what has probably been is stand up. Is that your forte? Is that what you love the most?
I love directing, and I'll probably have directing movie stuff. And so I hopefully in the next week or two, I'll have an announcement that I'm not allowed to. It's so silly. It's just like
Hey, it is what it is.
You can't say a thing about it until it's real, until something is signed and you're moving. If somebody's getting traded or getting paid a fortune to go somewhere else, or somebody's leaving, you can't talk about it until it's a reality. So
yeah.
I'm under wraps on something that could be very cool and fun. But as a director, but I love stand up, and I was all ready to do a new special. I had a tour set for 2020. Yeah. I was going out. I was going everywhere, all through Canada, all through the U.S. I had to cancel Canada like the night before because quarantine hit. And they were mad at me until the next day when they shut down all the venues.
Yeah.
And then, but I can't wait to get out. I'm supposed to go out in September. People can find it on my website. And in the meantime, I'm recording my podcast here. I'm real busy. I mean, I do it on Zoom. I have wonderful guests, Bill Burr rips me a new one. He just attacked me. He's so funny. He said that my stand-up is all it is. It's lines from Full House I never got to say with F-bombs around it. He said, that's all my stand-up is. What are you talking about? So I had to attack him back.
The stuff that's been buried and been regurgitated out, it probably feels good to get it out of your system.
That's what happened to me at first when everyone went, why is it so dirty? It's like,
yeah, you kind of got glitched out again. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're just a little frozen, but I don't mind.
Yeah, looking forward to the season coming up, man. We would love to have you out. I know you're a busy man, but I'd like to see you on the sidelines if possible.
And that would mean everything to me. You have no idea. I got
news
look how serious.
It gets
look
loud
how serious I am about this.
Well, hey, I'll give you my address. I'd like for you to sign it, and I'll put it up there next to my liquor in my locker. So,
your liquor locker.
Yeah. Now it's time for fan questions. We have a lot of them, and I'm trying to pick out some of the best ones I can find.
Oh, they're singing America, America, I Love You. That's the theme of the video show, I think. They're saying, don't F around, you will cut me, basically is what he's saying.
A lot of them, can you say hi? I love Full House. They're not even questions. They're just,
hi.
One of them said, I'm the best guard in the league. Well, I don't play guard. I play tackle. Do you have a favorite Rita's water ice flavor for Bob? You probably don't even remember the flavors.
I like it was either grape or blueberry. All I know is my mouth was
blueberry.
Perfect.
Blueberry and mango. That's my go-to.
I loved that. I thought they meant vanilla ice. I got scared.
Vanilla ice. Hey, babe, people were guilty of that back in the day.
Oh yeah. What are you gonna do? That's how people were.
Yeah.
Pizza. Jeff Ash. I know you're Professor Jeff Ash. Someone just asked. We worked in the deli together. People are bringing up Jeff Ash. My middle name is Lane, by the way.
Yeah, Robert Lane Saget.
I know. I didn't love the name for a while. I thought it sounded like street or road, but now I like it. Now I'm proud of it. How you?
My first name is David.
Name, right?
Yeah, and so my dad's David Earl. I'm David Lane. My first son is David Jace. So we're all just my dad goes by David, and so I decided to stick with Lane. I was actually named after the bull rider, Lane Frost. You ever seen the movie Luke Perry was in?
Yeah.
R.I.P. Yep. So get a few more in here. Not even a lot of questions on here, just a lot of statements. Y'all have
comments, and they're nice actually. They love you, as they should.
Can you greet me, Bob? You are my idol, and I admire you.
They asked me if I could beat you in arm wrestling. The answer is no. I'm 64. My arm will come off in his hand. Oh, someone did something weird. I don't know how this works when someone can
I
bring
don't
something
either.
in. That's weird, right?
Yeah,
My
this
favorite
Instagram
Fuller
Live.
House moment. I always say the last one, the last show.
You want to talk about rabbit holes? Instagram, you can find them.
Yeah, it's really weird. People bring up stuff.
Your favorite venue / stadium to perform in by Beachwise 417.
My favorite stadium?
Yep.
I don't know. I do more theaters than I do giant venues because I ain't Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
And he's an anomaly. He's amazing that he does what he does. And Philly guy, and a sweetheart. I don't know. I mean, I actually opened the Staples Center in LA. I was the first person on the stage, and we were honoring Magic Johnson, and I was the host of the whole night. And
That
it
was
was
neat.
really quite special. It was an amazing thing. I did a little bit of stand up, but I brought the whole script, and everybody said, "You don't need the script, the teleprompter," but the teleprompter broke. So I was the only person. This was a giant thing.
Oh, yeah.
For Magic. So everybody's there, and everybody used my script because they literally. I just always assume Murphy's Law is gonna hit. You know.
What can happen will happen?
That's
Is that Murphy's
how
Law?
I look at it. I love having insurance in my head of what to go to if something doesn't work. In my field, it'd be a backup microphone, backup guitar, backup equipment, whatever. Yeah. And what do you do in your case? Is it extra wrapping? What do you do? Do you have any?
I mean, far as my hands, I mean, I'm pretty taped up. They don't really come off. Sometimes I've had shoes come off, and they have to go in the locker room. So sometimes they bring an extra pair of shoes out, or cleats, I should say.
Right.
Really, other than that, man, only plans you have going into a game is these right here. These big old paws. I just, try to keep them clean, and that's really my life. And
get out of your head.
Yeah, really. That's the biggest thing is you get in front of pressure situations and your mind wants to race, and that's the last thing you want to do. You want to really focus in and dial in. So what's a play lasts, 4 or 5 seconds? So our coach always says, just try to focus for 4 seconds at a time. And it's a lot harder than you think.
Advice.
That's for 4 seconds at a time.
That's the best advice anybody could give. The whole thing about being in the moment, but what you do, I think I'm 4 seconds at a time because I'm anticipating what just happened and what I'm going to, and that kind of centers me into where I'm at.
A lot of yours is based on the field too. I mean, it's all the energy you're getting off the crowd too. So I guess kind of back.
So that's what a lot of people don't know is that you're out there, you're hearing them. People don't know that. People, but then you watch the Michael Jordan documentary and you go, well, he was doing it regardless of the crowd, but not really because they were all screaming for him. I mean, because he was doing things nobody had. I mean, flying. You can fly.
Phil Jackson was really interesting to me as far as how he really, I guess, knew how to coach everybody a little bit differently. I guess you say with Robin versus Scotty, he knew what made people tick, and I think he – that's kind of how our coach is. I mean, he kind of really, from a psychological standpoint, knows what triggers people, what gets people going, what gets people motivated. So it's, I guess, a lot of psychology in sports and in stand-up or comedy in general. So,
well, that's all true, and the best people have the best theories behind it. I actually got to talk to Phil Jackson for like 10 minutes after a game, and it turns out he was a fan of mine, which I still don't understand because he's like brilliant and I'm holding up a troll doll, right? And we were just talking about the zen of it all because he's got a very,
he's very big on that.
Very big on the Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of thing.
Yes.
And I had a really good conversation because I was kind of going through a phase where I was trying to figure everything out and was searching at all different paths. And he was kind of giving me some advice and it was like, I was just sucking it up, man. It was just
almost like you're in the presence of a wizard and you were just getting great wisdom and just trying to soak it in. for the
I
few
get
minutes that
that.
you
I
had?
get that once in a while. I'm actually going to, after we're done talking, I get to have a virtual dinner with Norman Lear and his wife and my wife. We're going to have a double date. Norman Lear, for people that don't know, he's 97 years old. He made All in the Family, Sanford and Son,
Yeah.
Maude, Good Times, The Jeffersons. He's responsible for 12 years of revolutionizing television as we know it.
Yeah.
And he's producing right now a Latino version of One Day at a Time, and it got canceled by Netflix, and he got it picked up again, and he had to sign a 3-year contract. So it would get renewed when he's 100.
100?
He's another person. He just is so clear. He's a true idol that I get to have as a friend. It's a real
Yeah.
gift.
Yeah.
Who's your idol you get to talk to?
Man, a big guy ever since I got in the league was Jason Peters, the left tackle. So, 9-time Pro Bowler, really probably regarded as the best to ever play. As far as the guy that, physically 6'4", 350, and can really move for a big guy. So kind of an anomaly among athletes, I guess, at our position. But really, yeah, I mean, as soon as I got drafted, I just remember – really, I just watched everything he did. I watched how he handled himself with the media. I watched how he played. I watched how he, just really just kind of shadowed him, so to speak. And he was a big guy. He believed, in the complicated world, everybody's looking for all these answers, and usually the simplest answer is the best or the best resolution. So kind of learned a lot from him. Still am. And, yeah, so I mean, there's been a few guys like that, and been lucky to have them, vets like that. So learned a whole lot. So, man, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day. I hope you
I'm
enjoy
honored.
your dinner date. And hey, if you're not too busy, you come to one of these Philly games if the season is here. So fortunately, it will be. And
I
appreciate
want
you.
to. I can't wait. I want to give you a man hug in your incredibly sweaty jersey.
Hey, come on, I'll be there.
I'll be there too. I can't wait to see your locker.
All right, I appreciate you, buddy.
Be well. My best to your family. Happy Father's Day, Lane.
You too.
Thank you.